experienced employees, right? So there are ways of getting in the right information into our business. The challenge is though, we're all limited on time, we're limited on our budget, and we're limited on our effort in building this team. And quite often, here we are with this great idea for a business, up against the reality that we need a better team. And often businesses with that better team are going to outperform teams that don't have that knowledge in-house. We also know that when founders go and raise capital, a significant portion of what they raise actually goes to acquiring team members. Quite often, they bring in inexperienced team members. They bring in who they can afford with their budget. Think about this for a second. Would you rather have a friend or a college friend who just happens to be available to fit a role in the company? Or would you rather have someone like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, right? Abraham Lincoln, right? Anyone living or even past advising you strategically on how to run a business, right? I know who I'd be choosing, right? The reality is we can't afford them. They're not around. They've passed. But with the power of AI and ChatGPT, we can tap into their collective wisdom. Right? When we do hire people, when we finally get around to raising enough capital or having some capital, and we do hire out people, it's limited because they're filtering the advice to you through their personal experience. They're filtering what they're sharing with you through their knowledge base, through their education, through their biases, and often their personal agendas. Right? But what if we can fix all that? What if we can give you a tool that can actually help you navigate all of these challenges, right? Now, when we don't bring in the right team members, I mentioned, that a lot of businesses are going to literally crash and burn, right? We all have aspiring dreams. We're all here because we have some dream, some aspiration of driving our vehicle across the finish line. Whatever that finish line means for you. The reality is, statistics show that a lot of us will actually crash and burn our own very own dream. So what if today we can start thinking about using AI in a completely different way and start to effectively manage our businesses to navigate that complex maze that we call entrepreneurship and we call businesses, right? So what if you can train ChatGPT to be your CEO advisor, to be your board of advisors, to be your marketing assistant, a social media manager, a content strategist, a sales copywriter, a human resource assistant, a project manager, public relationship manager, financial analyst, and the list goes on. How many of you right now in your businesses would like to tap into some of this wisdom, collective wisdom? Right? Maybe you're a lifestyle coach. Maybe you're a lifestyle coach. What's one of the things that entrepreneurs do? We give up perfectly good 40-hour-per-week jobs and take on 80-hour-per-week unpaid jobs when we step into this world of entrepreneurship, right? So somewhere in there, we need to fit in a lifestyle business coach who understands our commitment to our businesses, but also the fact that we also have lives to live as well. So here's what we're going to cover today. A little bit about our background, how we fell into this, the who, not how philosophy that this is kind of based on, a 6-part AI business modeling framework, how we leverage the power of one prompt in our business, how we are going to share, my partner's going to come on and do a ChatGPT demo, and 3 critical prompts that you can take away with you today. So, there's a lot of content that I'm going to share with you today. A lot of the details I put into a guide. I've actually created a guide that goes with the presentation. You're going to scan either the QR code or write this down. It is actually at aibusinessmodeling.com. So aibusinessmodeling.com, or you can just scan the QR code. I'll share it one more time towards the end as well. And all of what I'm showing today in a lot more detail is available for you right there. So a little bit of background about myself. After about a decade of the entrepreneur dream, the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, making money, losing money, and all that good stuff, I stumbled into virtual assistant, the industry of virtual assistants. There's a book out there called The 4-Hour Work Week. Anyone read The 4-Hour Work Week? Right, a few people here. A great book if you haven't read it. But essentially, it introduced me to this concept that you can hire people overseas to do all the stuff that entrepreneurs don't like to do, right? So how many of us love the admin side of our business? Checking emails, posting on social media, checking all that engagement, admin, billing, invoices. That's why we give up our perfectly great jobs to spend 80% of the time doing admin level work. When I understood this philosophy of someone else can do this other than me, it changed my life as a business owner. I was so much inspired that I went on to build 3 businesses in that space, and my current business is BeeEPIC Outsourcing. It's a community-based approach to using VAs. And this is my team, current team, which includes like half of the team there as well. But one thing we specialize in is how do we make it possible for entrepreneurs to hire a virtual assistant for as little as $5 per day. And what I mean by that is you don't get the VA for the whole day, but there are some mission critical things that either we are doing that's wasting our time or not doing that we can delegate. And that's something that we do. So if anyone has an interest in VA services, please contact me. But today is about VA services. I'm also going to introduce you to Roy Meyer. He's one of my best friends. He's currently traveling the world. This is, I think, his 6th or 7th year now. They sold everything here in the US and they set sail, and they're actually literally a global family. And they're inspired by another global family. That's my global family. So in 2010, my immigration lawyer called us up and said, hey, I'm going to give you 2 choices. Choice number 1, you become illegal in the US. And choice number 2 is that you leave the US. So we sold everything, packed 4 red bags, 2 laptops, 2 kids, 1 wife, and left, and we ended up traveling for the next 5 years, thanks to the who not how philosophy. So how we fell into this, as I mentioned before. So we were literally building models to help business owners figure out, with their limited time and their money, how best to use virtual assistants in their business. That modeling ended up developing something completely different. Well, not different, but an expansion of that concept. So we developed an AI brain philosophy that can be used for strategic learning thinking. I'm not talking about just content. The content is the very end of this stream of consciousness. Using this model, we've now tested it on multiple types of businesses, and we can literally model any type of business. Small, solopreneur, all the way down to large enterprises. So first step in using this concept is what is the problem we have to solve? So any given moment, any given time, we as business owners, we as founders are faced with multiple challenges. So after kind of experimenting with this, we found out it's best to take on one challenge at a time to make the most out of this model, right? So whether it's your business model in general, so maybe you've got a business model, you want to validate, is it the right business model for the current time, for the current market? We can solve hiring challenges, we can solve marketing challenges, we can solve sales challenges, operations challenges. So we start this process by defining the problem. As my friend Jack Sparrow says, the problem is not the problem is because you're not using ChatGPT in the right way to solve the problem, right? In fact, he didn't say that, I said that. So the first step is we've got to prioritize how we want to use AI business modeling in our business. Step number 2, there's a book out there, again, if you haven't read this book, highly recommend it. It's called Who Not How. The concept's very simple. Most entrepreneurs are trying to figure out how do I do something, right? Thus we create ourselves multiple jobs within our business. Now what Who Not How teaches us is rather than asking how do I do something, who can I hire, who can I bring into my team to do that job? Well, that's all well and good if we've got deep pockets, whether we've got capital to spend on the who. But what if we don't have the capital to spend on the who? Well, today we can still develop a team of who just happens to be using AI. So how do we do that? Well, step number 1 is we have to create a persona. So what is a persona? A persona is a representation of a person who has a specific role in the company, right? It's powered by the NLP model like ChatGPT, who understand and respond to human interactions, right? They're all familiar with the concept of ChatGPT now. Essentially, every chat channel in ChatGPT can become a different persona with the ability to help you in your business. Right? So why use an AI persona? Well, the more personalized your AI persona is, the more human-like it's going to be, right? The more its ability to understand your specific needs. It works 24/7, doesn't ask for vacations, doesn't have sick pay, it doesn't sue you because you have to let them go. Right? But what it really does, it can allow for greater scalability in the business. Now, we have to give the AI a bit of focus, right? So when we give it a focus area, when we give it a speciality, it performs better. When we started this, we made some of these personas very generic. And we got kind of generic input, generic output. Still useful, but as we start to define the persona, we started to see it was giving us better and better results, as it was literally learning how to be the best advisor possible, right? And it started to adapt. So the more we define their personality, the more we found that the AI itself is adapting itself to become far more of a specialist in the different roles inside it. Right? So now we need to build the AI persona. So depending on the problem you've chosen in the business that you want to take on, which advisor would best solve that problem, right? So think about it for yourself right now. Think about a problem you're facing in your business right now. Maybe it's a marketing challenge. Maybe you're not got enough leads. Maybe it's a sales challenge. Maybe right now you've got leads coming in, but you're not converting the leads. Maybe it's operations. Maybe you're not sure who to hire next. Maybe it's social media. What kind of content should I be putting out there? So step one, define the problem. Step number two, think about if these are real people, who would you be hiring right now to solve that problem? Right. Here's an example. So we're going to tell ChatGPT, you want to act as a marketing specialist. Just assume, because marketing is one of the big areas that most entrepreneurs struggle with, that you are going to be a marketing specialist in our business. Now, step number three, we're going to tell the AI persona what it does. Right? So as a marketing specialist, we want it to help us build, say, sales funnels, customer support channels, social media campaigns, marketing research, audience targeting, campaign optimization, maybe lead generation, prospecting. So we need to tell it its specific job in our company. Here's an example of adding on to that prompt. So you will act as a marketing specialist in our business, and you will specialize in developing marketing strategies, sales copy, writing, social media management, and lead generation. That's its job in the business. Now we need to give it a personality. So this is a way of humanizing its approach to our business. Right? Now we can give it a range of personalities. In this case, we're going to say it could be friendly, it could be professional, it could be detail-oriented, it could be analytical. So again, think about if you're going to hire a marketing specialist to come into your business. What kind of personality would you be looking for if they were a real person? Now, let's expand the prompt again. You will act as a marketing specialist in our business. You will specialize in developing marketing strategies, sales copywriting, social media management, lead generation. And your personality will be professional, detail-oriented, persuasive, innovative, and efficient. Right? Now we've given it a baseline. Now we're going to start training. Anyone, any fans of How to Train Your Dragon? Movies? Yeah, a few hands. Some people are too shy to own up to that. Love it. Okay. But now we're going to start training it. It has come born with a DNA of who it is, what it is, right? But now we're going to start training it on our company. What is our company about? What does our company do? The next part of training it is the client. Who do we serve, right? So in this case, we're going to tell it the client's pains, the client's desires, what are the objections that the client may have. So we're going to train the ChatGPT, right? Now, once we put all this together, once we develop this one prompt, this is not multiple prompts, this is one prompt that we've used to define the characteristics of this one channel in our ChatGPT. We can do a number of things. We can go from developing a lead magnet for our campaigns, a landing page, a thank you page, newsletters, LinkedIn articles, authority building articles, branding articles, marketing plans, content calendar, SOPs, process maps, self-analysis, action plans, templates, and systemize the whole thing from one prompt. Okay? So rather than me tell you that, I'm going to have my partner come in and actually show you it. So he's actually in Australia right now, in Brisbane. I was hoping he could dial in time, but we've had some connection issues. So I had a backup plan, so I recorded the video. So it is a little bit long, but it's going to show you exactly how we are using these personas in real life. So let me just bring on the voice.
Hey everybody, this is Roy Meyer coming to you from the Gold Coast here in Australia. And I would certainly love nothing more than to be there live with you today, but I know that you are in fantastic hands with my partner Beejel there. So, I know Beejel has been sharing a lot about our AI business modeling that we do, and in particular talking a little bit about building a persona and how you can do that in your business. So I just wanted to share a quick demo of one very small way of how you could use a marketing persona or marketing specialist as a persona, and how you could leverage one single prompt with a persona as part of a modeling process to build out an amazing funnel for your business. So what I'm going to do right now is go into my screen and we're going to walk through this live. And just remember, this is just one very small example of the things that you could do when you are using AI in your business. So let's get to it. And I'm going to move quite fast, so hold on. Now, if you look here, what we're going to be doing is building out a marketing specialist persona. Now, we work with a lot of companies in a lot of different industries. This happens to be in this example for a real estate broker, is what this persona is built out for. So if you notice here at the very beginning, we are creating this persona, just like Bee mentioned, and it starts with, you will act as a marketing specialist. You specialize in developing marketing strategies, sales copywriting, social media management, and lead generation. Your personality type is professional, detail-oriented, persuasive, innovative, and efficient. So we've told our persona who it is, we've told it what it does, and we've given it a personality. Now, as part of this first prompt that we are going to build out an incredible funnel, an incredible package, we're going to also include in this first prompt, write down here a little bit of information about us or our client. So this would be what we do, how we help serve our clients, whatever this broker might do. So we're going to give a little bit of information about the broker. Then we are going to identify their audience, the pain points of their audience, their avatar. So we're going to go in, we're going to do some analysis, and then we're going to include in here the pain points for this audience and put it into this prompt. Then we're going to develop out the desires right here of our audience, and we're going to put it into this prompt. And then we're going to give it a little bit more information about our company, our client's company, the services that we provide, a little bit about our pricing, and we're going to tell it to create a marketing plan. So in hindsight, once again, we told it, you are a marketing specialist, this is what you do, this is your personality, this is some information about our company, this is some information about our avatar, create a plan. So here you can say right away, as your marketing specialist, in its response, it told us, okay, I understand I'm going to be your marketing specialist, and then it tells us all these different things that it can do for us. Brand positioning, content marketing, sales copywriting, and so on. And so these are all things, if you train it right, it can take on all of these roles as a marketing specialist persona in your company. So let's go ahead now and scroll down and talk about, when Bee was talking about, there's 3 important things you need to remember regarding prompts. And this is one of the first ones. Anything else, no matter what you are working on, you want to remember this prompt, because chat will give you a lot of great stuff, but it doesn't always give you everything, and it doesn't always give you the best on the first go around. So we always go in and ask, is there anything else that you can provide? And you can see here, it said yes. Oh, you know what? Here's some other ways that I can help you as a marketing specialist. Video marketing, influencer partnerships, and so on. Had we not done anything else, we would have uncovered these, and you would have a very limited marketing persona. Then same thing here, it asked it again, anything else? That's it, here's a few more ideas. So we want to dig deep so that we get everything out of it to have the most potent and powerful persona that we can absolutely have. And here you can see chatbot integration, which is a big thing that we do as well. And so just remember that. Anything else, that's one of those really important prompts you need to remember. So let's keep going. And now here you can see I just consolidated all of the things that it's going to do for our company as a marketing specialist persona. Now let's go ahead and scroll down here and build out this package. Now here we're going to go in and say, with all of these things, we want to nurture our clients. We want to add additional value. So here we just said, this next prompt, give us 10 ideas how we can better help support our clients further. And it gave us 10 ideas. Home Seller's Guide, educational workshops, and so on. So it gave us some ideas to help nurture our clients. So let's say I like the Home Seller's Guide idea and I want to make a lead magnet or an ebook or something out of that. Well, let's go down and prompt it. I like that Home Seller's Guide. Create an outline for this lead magnet. And there you go. You've got your outline for that entire lead magnet, which is really a library of information that you could draw from. It's far more than just the lead magnet that you're going to see. Well, here, once again, it just created the lead magnet based on the pains and the desires of her target audience. So it's going to be speaking to them rather than just being random content that you think they may want to hear. So let's go ahead and go down further. Now here is a second prompt that we told you is one of the important three. And that is self-analysis. Having chat go in and reanalyze what it gave you, asking if it can improve. And so you can see here, based on this outline, are there any improvements or additions to this outline that would make it more appealing? So we're asking it, go back and reanalyze what you just gave us. Are there any improvements you can make? And the majority of the time, it will say yes. You can see here, it's like, you know what? We could make this framework and this outline a little bit better, and it gave us an updated version. So once again, that's another critical prompt, asking it to self-analyze what it gave you. So let's go down through the process. Now we created this book, this framework, now let's go ahead and write it. Now we're in the real estate industry, so who better to follow than Gary Keller? So let's write in the tone of Gary Keller. So we're going to write each chapter now. So we're going to say, write the first chapter. And it's going to write the chapter. And go down here, write the second chapter. It's going to write the second chapter. And so on. And so we're going to do that for each chapter of the book. So let me go ahead and scroll down quickly to the end of all this. And I believe we have around 13 chapters in here. And here we are down to the conclusion. So now we have this amazing lead magnet that we can leverage. Now let's go ahead and ask it to write a foreword. So chat, can you please write a foreword for this? Here's your foreword. Chat, can you write a call to action for this? Here's your call to action. Well, chat, can you write a landing page for this ebook? There's your landing page. Just got to copy and paste that over to whatever you're using for your landing pages. Well, what about a thank you page? Create a thank you page. Well, there you go. There's your thank you page. Well, what about a newsletter and an email series, once again, based on the pain points and the desires of our audience? There you go. Ask it to do it. There you go. Now you've got a newsletter and 10 emails. Well, how can we continue to get leverage that one big prompt that we did? What else can we get out of this? Let's go ahead and move forward. Go down to the end of these emails. Well, let's start doing a little bit of branding and authority building. So let's go in and say, based on the lead magnet, the pains and the desires of our audience, give me 20 article titles that I could build future content around that would be based on those pains and desires. So we give that prompt. See here, here's 20 articles that are, once again, speak to the pains and the desires. We can write these later. Right now, we just want the article titles. And, well, what about if we want to continue to build brand and authority, and this realtor works in a number of different neighborhoods that she wants to build her brand and authority. This happens to be in the Omaha area. So let's go ahead and do 20 more articles, maybe on neighborhoods. So here it gives 20 more article titles. And these are on particular neighborhoods where now she can go in and have an article about a particular neighborhood. She can actually even turn these into an audio script where she could do little 1 to 2 or 3 minute videos for each of these neighborhoods as well. Well, what about, we don't want to have all opinions and desires in our nurture campaign. So what if we told them, well, let's add a little fun into the sequence we're going to send out to this avatar. So how about if we do 20 article titles about different events and things that are going on in Omaha, which is where this agent is. Well, yeah, here's some great things, some great see areas, some things you should do, some highlights of the city. And so now what we've just done is we have created 60 article titles to help build brand authority and awareness for this particular broker that we can build content around moving forward. So we have a powerful lead magnet, and then we have 60 article titles. So what else can we do? Well, let's go ahead now. We have all this. We've got those articles. We've got the lead magnet. Well, how about if we create that marketing plan now in detail? Add a content calendar as well. Chat, go in and create us a marketing plan and a content calendar. So we told it to do that. There you go. There's our content marketing plan and our calendar. The day, the time, the platform, the type, the title, the description. And we'll scroll down here for all 30 days. And we'll go down here at the bottom. Great. And we've got our 30-day calendar. So let's continue digging. As we're doing our modeling, our AI modeling, working with different personas, well, let's do a little twist here. And normally I would have separate chats for different personas, but in essence, as it's demo, I'm going to create now an SOP and workflow specialist. Because we just created the lead magnet, we just created a marketing plan, we just created a content calendar, and so let's bring in an SOP specialist so that we can create SOPs while we're doing this, so that we can repeat the process. So let's go in. We've told it you are now going to act as an SOP and workflow specialist, and we want you to create SOPs for this entire thing. Well, sure, I can help you with this. Here's a detailed SOP for your social media marketing plan. So now we have all of the SOPs for this entire plan of what we just created. Let's dig a little bit deeper. What else can we do now with this? Let's see, we're doing anything else. Well, how about now if we create a process map to go with our SOP? So let's go ahead and create a detailed process map. So we're going to tell it, create a process map, and there you go. You've got a highly leveraged process map that you can upload into if you're using any kind of mind mapping software, whatever the case might be. You now have a process map that you can use. So what else can we do? Once again, I talked earlier about that self-analysis. Well, notice here I'm doing it again. Based on your process map, identify areas where the process can be improved and propose specific solutions and better streamline our operations. So I'm asking, okay, that process you gave me, is that the best you got? And you can see right here, it tells us, here are some areas where that could be better. So it gave us a better process map. So let's keep plugging along. What else can we do in this funnel, in this process? So let's go down here. And, okay, here we go. So what about, okay, now we have the SOPs and a process map. Well, we're going to need to get this off of the ground. I can hand this over to a client, but they still may not know what to do with it or even how to get it off the ground. So as we go through this modeling, let's go ahead and build out an implementation plan. So here, we want to say, give us an action plan to help us get this launched. So you can see here then, here is your implementation plan. Here's exactly how you put this plan into motion, including starting with the pre-launch. Who's responsible for what? What do you need to do? What does a VA need to do? Whatever the case. And here you can see you have an entire implementation plan. Now, what else can we do with this? Keep digging. Well, what if we create a template so you can rubber stamp this process each and every month? So now we have a template of this marketing plan that we just created that our team could follow. So you can see here, we're going to tell chat, create a template. And there you go. There's a step-by-step template for the entire thing that we just created. So what else can we do? Well, let's take this another step further and say, well, this is great. Now we have this template of everything that we've done, so we can recreate it. Well, we still need to streamline this, and we still need to get this systematized. So what if we get this integrated into your CRM? And for this example, we'll say Trello. So now we want to say, well, this is all great. I don't want to manually manage this. Let's get this systematized and create a step-by-step system in Trello so that a fifth grader can follow. So here we go, right there. Chat, create a detailed step-by-step process to set up this entire system, to set it up, management, do the workflows, everything in Trello. There you go. Sure, there's a step-by-step process to manage the whole thing in Trello, or we use ClickUp or Monday, whatever it might be. In this instance, it was Trello. So there's a lot of other things that I could show you that this persona could do, but there's one last thing I want to share with you, and that's that third important prompt that we were talking about. First one being anything else, second one, do a self-analysis, and the third important prompt, and always remember, no matter what you're working on, is asking chat, what is the best prompt I can ask you to achieve X? Let me give you an example. So here, you would come down and you could say, what is the best prompt I can ask you to achieve this outcome? What is the best prompt I can ask you to achieve X? Or in this, if I have a prompt that I kind of put together, you could say, what is the best prompt I can ask you using the example below, and it will recreate it. And then in here, it will tell you what to ask it. So here it's told me, hey, based on that example, here's what you should ask me in order to make that happen. And then I would just copy this, and I would paste it in as a prompt. So we do that all the time, and multiple times within a workflow when we're doing AI modeling. We are consistently going through that process. So that's it. I know that was fast, but I'm going to end it there. I'm going to get you back to B, and everybody take care, and I appreciate your time.
Great. So let's just recap. Let's just do a recap of what kind of came in late. Step number one. Well, before you step number one, if we are running businesses, we need multiple people, multiple experts in our business to get us from where we are right now to where we want to go. Everyone agree? Right? Number two, we don't often have the budgets to bring in experts. Everyone agree? Because no matter how much we want to bring in the right people, hire the best employees, we don't often have the budgets, right? That's where we go and think, hey, I need to raise capital, right? What do we do? We go raise capital. Why? Because we know that a significant portion of raising capital goes to bringing in the right team members. Kirk can tell you that, right? But what we're now saying is that if we are a solopreneur or a micropreneur, right, pretty much us, maybe we've got a few other friends, maybe we've got drag some friends into this, maybe we've dragged family into this, right? It doesn't mean that we can't tap in to the collective wisdom of what's out there. We can, right? We just got to build the right models. So we define the problem. Even though we want to bring in the entire thing at the same time, step number one, we define a single problem that we want to resolve right now. Step number two, we identify who, if you want to hire somebody, will be the best person to solve that problem for you. If you're an operations expert, if you're an inventor, you may want to bring in a marketing person, just as this example. Maybe your challenge is in sales, that you're getting leads coming in, but now you're having a challenging time converting those leads into sales. So we define one problem. We tell the persona who it is, what it does, how it does it, who we serve. And then finally, now we have that prompt built out for one purpose, or one problem, with one persona. The three critical prompts that Roy shared with you. Number one, what is the best prompt I can ask you? Right? So the default, you go back to that, there's an expanded version of it. Prompt number two, anything else? For some reason, ChatGPT likes to hold back. Kind of like most humans in life, right? We kind of like drag our ass and we're like, yeah, well, just check this out. No. I'm not paying you to give me half-assed advice. I'm paying you to give me the whole thing, right? We have to ask it to give us the whole thing. And prompt number three, can you reanalyze and make this more efficient? Right? We're asking it to evaluate what it's just given us and say, hey, make it more efficient. So those are the three critical prompts. Now, when we started this, we started to move away from using this purely for advising companies on how to hire virtual assistants. And the reason, let me kind of go back to that question. So why? Why was it so critical that we invent this? This is why. Most virtual assistants, if you've ever worked with virtual assistants, they are amazing implementers. Give them something to do, they'll go implement it. They are not very good at strategic level thinking, right? If you ask them, what's the best way? They'll give you their best way, but it's usually very narrow perspective, right? But if you've mapped out a process, if you've mapped out a plan, you give it to them, they'll work, they'll be loyal, and they'll work on that. So we wanted to see how can we bridge the gap, right? Because sometimes we don't have the expertise to guide them on what's the best way. That's how we fell into this. And we used something that EOS model. So EOS is the Entrepreneur Operating Systems, and we started off with that model. And we basically said, okay, ChatGPT, we're going to help us develop a vision for the business, right? Help us create, how do we track the data in our business? How do we develop processes for our business? How do we create traction? How do we make sure that the team stays on track? How many creators in the room? How many creators do we have? If you're a creator, put your hand up a second, right? How many creators love admin and operations? Right? We come up with the most amazing ideas, right? Creatives, right? Amazing ideas. But when we actually sit down to actually implement them, what do? What do most creators do when they come to sit down and do some work, actual work? We go find another creative project to do, right? Because it's far more exciting than the admin operation level, right? Now, you just saw, we went from creative thinking in one channel and we switched it. Now, normally we would actually create an SOP persona, but for the example we did it all in one channel. We switched it from creative thinking to operational thinking. Right? Now we can just give that to our implementers and get it done in one channel. Right? We have something we call it the 10S application model, right? So we can use it for strategizing, simplifying what we're currently doing, standardizing operations across the company, standardizing how we do things across the company, systematizing to make sure everything ends up as a system. I divide the system as a few variables. One is what's the name of the system, what's the role of the system, what is the process of the system, what is the software or technology or tool we use in the system, who runs the system, and how do we track the system. It can help us develop that model for every system in our business. I think that's for a second. Whether you're a solopreneur, whether you're a micropreneur or running a large organization, we still have the same type of departments in our business, even though we don't have sticky labels on our doors saying that, right? We still have a marketing department, we have a social media department, we have a sales department, we have a finance department. As solopreneurs, we are often switching in one single day between 10 to 15 different roles, right? That creates mental tension, a drain on our creative ability, right? So we get some of the important things. When we drain our battery, right, of thinking, because we're switching from one thing to another to nothing, our ability to solve the big problems diminishes over the day, diminishes over the week. And thus we're faced with the same problems over and over again. Not anymore. We can use it for supporting and stimulating the entire business, segmenting the business into different areas. We can use it to strengthen what we're doing and study our operations, synchronizing things across the company, scaling and serving, how do you scale and serve a wider audience, and sustaining and securing the position of our marketplace, right? So, here's the thing, if you missed this presentation, or you came in halfway, you couldn't see the screen, we're recording it right now, we're going to put it on a website for you guys to watch back and actually watch the demo, right? You go to aibusinessmodeling.com, give us a few days to get it up there, the page is there right now, and we'll put this recording up there so you guys can follow along and see how we did this, right? Now, in the download that you can get, we've done some case studies. Manufacturing, technology services, culinary services, real estate brokerage, and even down to a real estate agent, a solopreneur. So there's 5 case studies in the download there as well. So again, you can scan the QR code, get the download, watch the video. If you want if you have further questions, quick intake forms to fill out, that will help you schedule a call with us, and you can kind of share more information with you guys as well. So make sure you do that. If you are thinking about how do I use this in my business, whether you're a startup, whether you're an experienced business, AI modeling can truly transform how you are approaching the challenges in your business. Again, if you want to contact me for any odd reason, right, other than the fact that you'll always see me at events wearing yellow, that's my email and that's my phone number. But I'll leave you with this. So why yellow? Why do I wear yellow and black? Well, I'm a fan of bees. Actually, today happens to be National Bee Day. In France, National Bee Day has a whole different meaning, right? Anyone know what a bee day is in France? No? No? It's to wash your ass. That's what a bee day is in France. But today we're celebrating the little feature. So why is that relevant? Why is the bee so relevant? Industrious, right? It doesn't wake up in the morning, oh, I don't want to. It just goes this way. But here's what the industry things, right? The bee serves its unique purpose in its life. Short life, right? Because it's a short life, even though we feel that we have all the time in the world, we really don't. I wear this around my neck. Memento Mori. Anyone know what Memento Mori is? Yes. Right? Tomorrow's not guaranteed, folks. Right? Tomorrow's not guaranteed. It is our moment here on the planet Earth is momentary. We often take that for granted as entrepreneurs, right? Don't fill your day up with the mundane, boring repertoire. Spend your day doing what you love. Spend your day doing the things that bring you most joy and add the most value to your business. So, the bee serves its unique purpose. Number 2, the bee serves its community. We have a couple of community builders here. Kurt serves his community. I love to serve a community. Right? Number 3, a bee serves humanity. So I always say that we as entrepreneurs need to serve our unique purpose. We need to serve our community, and we need to serve humanity. Thank you so much. So you have a few minutes. So I'm happy to take any questions or any comments. Any questions?
What do you think is like the most impactful way to start your branding to make a very strong impression on your community and on your demographic in a short period of time?
Well, yellow. The answer is I don't know. And here's the beauty of it. When we have that exact question, that's why we build a model. We can build a brand specialist. You can literally create a board of brand advisors. Who are the top 3 to 5 branding people on the planet, right?
Yeah.
Danny Deutsch or whatever. We can create a persona that represents his wisdom, right? Create 3 or 4 more personas around who are the best brand guys in the industry, dead or alive, right? Take that question to them. Hey, I want to build a brand. Here's my audience. Here's the market. Here's the city I want to build the brand in, right? Because branding in, say, Chicago may be very different from branding in Arkansas, right?
Totally.
Right? So that's exactly why we built the model.
I love that.
We no longer have to be the walking experts in this.
And some of it's uncharted territory, so a lot of this is to be determined. I agree.
And now there's a lot of people out there that are, that call themselves branding experts.
Mm-hmm.
But you may have missed it from the beginning, but their advice to you is going to come from their filtered experience, from their filtered or limited knowledge, from their biases, right, and personal agendas, right? So even when we have the money, we go find some, oh yeah, I'm a branding expert, right? So we kind of take it on face value or we evaluate their branding. A lot of times branding to them means logos. So they said I'm a logo designer, I'm a branding expert, which most are not branding experts, right? And then we as entrepreneurs rely on these branding experts to give us advice, right? Rather than that, let's tap into the collective wisdom that's out there. I'm not saying it's 100% perfect, but I'm saying in our testing, it's a lot more perfect than most experts who say they're experts. Another way to think about this is this. Google just released Palm 2, right? It's their AI model. Right?
Yes.
They've been using Palm 1 predominantly in the medical industry for diagnosis, right? They know that the misdiagnosis rate with real doctors, again, it's filtered through their education, through the limited case studies that they have worked on, right? AI diagnosis models are built on hundreds of millions of case studies, right? I don't know what the number is, right? Would you rather go to a doctor who's seen 1,000 patients or go to a doctor who's seen 100 million patients, right?
Right.
The failure rate with AI diagnosis is far, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's far, far less. There's a great video that just hit on YouTube exactly on this subject matter. The same thing applies in business, right? You're building a business. Do we want to limit our advice that we're getting to experts that we can either get access to, or we can pay, or the collective wisdom that's out there? Great question, thank you.
Profound.
So when you talk about like hiring Steve Jobs or Bill Gates and stuff like that, and you build that by AI. So each of these personas are definitely then going to cost you different amounts. Like I can afford a AI who has the personality of Bill Gates versus somebody else who cannot.
Well, you're not paying anything, really. I mean, you're just building it out, right? I mean, it is limited to the information that's out there that defines a persona, right? So when we build a persona around a characteristic, it's not the person, it's got certain character traits based on that person, right? That ChatGPT has access to, right? So that's how we build out personas with the characteristics. Hey, be like act like Steve Jobs, act like Bill Gates, right? Abraham Lincoln, right? So if you want to build and then you take the same problem and share it with each one of the personas. Then you can take the collective output and put it through a neutral filter and say, hey, put this together, assemble this, and give me one strategic output with all this, right? So that's how I do it. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm saying that it's doable. Then you, as the human part, have to evaluate whether this makes sense to you or not.
So there is no cost. I'm trying to figure out what is the cost. Like
the tools are out there.
The cost is they're taking all your data.
Okay.
Yeah, right?
And I mean all of our data.
Right? But it's dangerous to be out there, right? So bear that in mind. Remember, at the end of the day, it's about implementation. It's about rapid implementation, right? What that demo we showed today, done for real, after you've developed the persona, is literally, I'm saying minutes, but it's not minutes, but within a few hours, you can have that. You can go from having a blank sheet as a marketing person to literally having your content built out to email, and you can do that in any persona, in any part of the company, right? So it's about acceleration. It can all be done by humans, it can all be done in time, but this is about, can you do it today, right?
Like you just sort of highlighted, it's sort of limited to the information that's out there, whatever it's been trained on. And to me, that hits the nail on the head of ChatGPT really isn't an expert in anything. It's actually a really good generalist. It does the same thing that an intern would do if you gave him a day. And so actually, when you're getting sure, but my point is the quality of output you get is not that of an expert, it's that of a junior person.
I would argue that, because when you build the persona right, when you train it correctly, the quality of output we've been getting, it's been astounding. Right? Now generic prompts, generic output, I will give you that. But when you build the prompts out the right way, then we hear at the beginning when you build the prompts out.
Yeah.
When you take the time, so when you build out the prompt with key details, and the output is actually pretty amazing.
Right, but it's effectively a really good search engine. It's getting what you get on.
Absolutely. I
mean, not literally, but the point is,
it's the assembly of the data in implementation in a way that you can implement it.
Yeah, but you're not getting like when you pay someone to be an expert in marketing. If they, for instance, lie to you about what the city of Chicago does, you can sue them. If ChatGPT lies to you because the internet is full of lies, unless you are an expert in this field, you have no way of actually checking their work. You have a junior person
You're
producing
absolutely
research.
correct. However, most people are operating without the budget to hire the experts.
Absolutely.
And some of them do have the experts. See, the thing, I didn't say you can replace people.
It's dangerous to suggest that you're replacing expertise rather than replacing manual research in a sense.
We're giving CEOs the ability to use a tool that can guide them in the right direction, right? And if they don't have an expert, it's a lot better than not having somebody at all.
I completely agree.
So yeah, but again, if you have the budget of the world, right? If you go get some capital from Kurt, I'll be bringing the experts, right? We're saying that as a bridge, right? And as an add-on, because even the experts are using ChatGPT for themselves. So even experts today, we know, are double checking, are almost igniting what they do with that, and then adding their expertise on top of it.
Exactly, but that means ChatGPT is not able to be these experts. It's able to augment those experts. It's able to be a junior person in each of those fields.
We've generated a lot of stuff that I would say is expert level for ourselves and what we've done for our clients. So it's a back and forth, right? It's an opinion, right? In our implementation, we've done a lot more than the businesses ever had, who themselves claim to be experts in what they do. So this is them telling us, right? These are experts in the business industry, in the manufacturing tech industry, saying, wow, we know where we've come up with that. So that gives you some example of again, it's not coming from us, that's coming from actual experts. But I'm sure, I agree, I'm not disagreeing, I'm saying that we as human filters have to decide at the end of the day, is this the right stuff for our business, right?
Yeah, which is managing an employee, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not leveraging an expert.
But that's
An expert is the person who knows more than you. ChatGPT will lie to me about what's true in like post folks.
And humans won't?
Oh, they absolutely will. You can sue them.
Humans.
You pay them, they're on you with a contract. ChatGPT is
I'm not into
you're
that.
paying shit to go, I'm gonna make decisions.
What I'm saying is that in our application, right, it's outperformed almost most of the things that we've done so far.
How do you manage somebody else? How do you manage research?
still goes through the human motivation of the person, right? You have to decide, is the output I'm seeing, I agree, I've had outputs like that output rubbish, right?
Right.
I feel like it's complex, right? But 9 out of 10 times, it's outperformed the human counterpart. So, take it forward to us.
We have another question.
BeeJel, I'm actually really interested in, showing some case studies in multiple different business classes. Like, could you kind of tell us what was their baseline, and then kind of where they got to within what amount of time?
So I can tell a call with Roy, because Roy was the one who actually worked on those kind of case studies that I talked about there. So he's the one who's kind of doing the client side of this right now. But happy to put you in touch with Roy. And then he probably still has the chat saved from those case studies.
Yeah, I think when I look at this going back and forth, it's kind of like what Barack Obama said to Hillary. When she says, oh, the reason why they like you, they really like you. And he told her, you're likable enough. If this chat, knows enough for us to move to the next phase, that's really, for me, that's all that's necessary to get the next step in order to get the business going and get the market.
That's it. It's a bridge above where we are today.
Okay, so I'm not sure if I missed it, but the ChatGPT that I have right now, I'll ask it so many questions, and then it literally will say,
Timed out.
yeah, like my brain is like can't handle this or whatever. Like with your capacity, can we talk about?
If you're using 4, you have a limit.
Okay.
So ChatGPT 4 does have it's 25.
Everything.
8,000 characters.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So a couple of options with it. You hit that all the time, right? You burn through that.
Yeah.
Is to have multiple channels, right? So you have to create different IDs and 4 is far alpha from 4 is significantly better than 3.5.
Okay.
So it's worth if it's that important to you, get the multiple accounts to
Okay.
get output from 4.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Can you save these personas, like bookmark them, or are they in that we call it a channel?
So each persona is a channel right now, right? We're building software to kind of add a layer above that makes it a little bit more. So multiple team members can log into one channel. And literally you can give the persona a name.
You don't have to rebuild it every session. It's there.
Exactly. So as of right now, it's built in a channel, and you can come back tomorrow and still split it to a team. Now we do have to find sometimes we have to refresh the personas, right? Sometimes they just go off in lava. So,
Is there any upcoming technology that you're aware of that would make it so, let's say an agency could build a persona for someone and then be able to transfer that trained chat to the client's account?
there's a great technology called Google Docs.
So the text alone is, the text alone is enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's I mean, again, in the work we've done, literally, we're just using the same tools all of you have access to, right? There's nothing we built. The art is the prompting, right? So the better the initial prompt. Then, as of right now, I'm sure there is out there, but literally, like 99% of the stuff we've done, literally, it's ChatGPT and Google Docs.
All right.
Yeah.
High tech, high
Love
tech.
it.
Not really a question, more of a comment, but on that front, my business, we do game development and we've been doing the ChatGPT prompting, more, not so much as business advice, but after this excellent talk, for sure, we're gonna be writing some prompts that apply to what we're doing. But we essentially made like a copy pastable game design document, so a GDD, that we can, put all the context about the game, relevant stuff, just even specific details like whether it supports gamepad or not. And at the end we go, okay, with all that context out of the way, here's the question. We found a lot of use with that, and the service, or the where we've been keeping the prompts is in a service called Nuclino, and it's a lot better than Google Docs. I found it back in October, so anyone wants to look up.
What's it called?
Nuclino.
Nuclear.
Yeah, I know nothing to do with it. I found that to be an amazing tool.
We go for a shit, and there's a new technology that just come out, right? So it's that fast, right? So a lot of this came about literally in weeks, right? We were only building models to help train VAs. We were not building models. We're just sharing this because over the last 2-3 weeks, we've taken it from giving VAs instructions on what to do to say, well, what if we could just do it? So the 5 case study literally, we could like grab hold of it and say, hey, can we just test this on your company? And that's kind of how this talk evolved.
As a developer, I'm actually looking for the right framework to integrate with ChatGPT to build more applications. And actually Node.js comes up. And my question to you, as far as a reliable language, what would you suggest between React or something like Python? You know, totally different, JavaScript versus Python and developers.
That's a great question for the right Indian. Let me explain. So, God, in his infinite wisdom, had a conveyor belt of Indians. And the Indians went along the conveyor belt, they were stacked with a technical ability. However, it got to me, and he took a break. So I would find an Indian who's good at coding and ask the same question.
Okay, one more before you go, to satisfy my question. Okay, how do you see ChatGPT playing with the new Web3 technologies? Will they play nice? Do you feel there's a future into this, or do you feel one may cancel over now?
I don't have any reason to doubt that it won't play nice. I mean, there's no indication of that. I mean, AI may destroy us completely anyway as a human race, but apart from that, as of right now, I mean, we just came from, some of us in this room came from a Web 3.0 kind of gathering of minds, and there's a convergence of all these technologies, Web 3.0, AI, metaverse, you know, it's just kind of coming together. What that means, we don't know, right? Now I'll end with this. As much as I'm a fan of using AI in business, as a father, and I've shared this with people in the room, it kind of scares me, right? And I call it data from Star Trek and Terminator. Right? On one side, we have the ability to use AI for the advancement of the human race, to solve problems that we've never solved before, to go places, to boldly go places that humanity's never been before. We also have the ability, as humans, to roll it, fuck it up.
Yeah.
Right? A few weeks ago, this thing came out in the news that some of the top AI experts wanted to put a pause on AI development. Anyone hear that?
Yeah.
A 6-month pause. Right? Okay. It wasn't that they expected anyone to actually stop development. Right? What they were attempting to communicate to the world was that human intelligence isn't at the maturity where it needs to be today to govern AI. So it was more of a statement than hey, let's just pause AI development. Human intelligence isn't quite there to guide AI to a safe output. Another video came out with this. 50% of AI experts, I'm not talking about your experts who become experts for the last 2-3 months. I'm talking about experts who've been doing AI for years, right? 50% of AI experts said that under the current trajectory, there's more than a 10% likelihood that AI has the ability, as it evolves, to destroy humanity. Now, I'm not an AI expert, I'm just sharing with you things that we've been doing with AI, but I am an aerospace engineer. And that's like me, 50% of aerospace engineers, telling you guys that 1 in 10 flights is going to crash and burn. If we don't put the right pilots in the right seats. So I'll leave you with this, nothing to do with what I talked about here. We, as members of the human race, have to make conscious decisions on how we govern and steer the technology that's been, that we have at our hands. So you're saying we're screwed. If we, as a global race, do not get over our pettiness that we are still dealing with around the world, right? Be for president. All right, folks. Thank you so much.